horror fans, once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G, and yes, I'm going to do another tag video. This one is called the Modern Horror Tag, yes. Now this tag was created by my good friend Sean Erschen from the Horror Corner. Like Sean Erschen and of course my good friend Dino and Ted from the Late Late Show, I'm old school horror because I grew up watching old school horror. Well, most people know that I grew up watching the Universal Monsters and the Hammer Dracula series and all the Hammer old school horror pictures, the good old monster picture that came out in the 50s, and of course some of the legendary classic horror pictures that came out in the 60s and the 70s. So I'm more into that. Now, of course, I do love all aspects of horror, including the modern horror that's going on right now. But Sean Erschen decided to create this tag simply based on modern horror. And there are 12 questions. So let's get on and do this tag. Question number 1. What is your favorite modern horror film of the new millennium? Now, this is kind of hard because there are lots of good ones, especially the last, I would say between last year and this year. Obviously, this year we have The Quiet Place, excellent horror film, and of course, last year, Get Out! And of course, we can't forget It! Yeah, so we had some pretty good modern horror films in the new millennium. Of course, we still have The Conjuring and Insidious. Yeah, those are very good quality horror films. But the one I'm going to pick, and I still think is, because it was so different and so new, it was great, it was nicely directed and very well written by Jordan Peele, so you know it has to be Get Out! Question number 2, who is your favorite modern horror icon of the new millennium? That's just going to be a kind of a tough question because who's the new icon? No, you can't really pick, there's some new icon. We really don't know who the new icon is. Who's going to be the next Freddy? Who's going to be the next Jason? Who's that person's going to be out there? I really don't know if there's a new horror icon out there at this time when it comes to modern horror. But if I had to pick anything, it probably would have to be Jordan Peele. He really hit the ballpark with Get Out. It's very well written, very well directed. Obviously now a lot of people are clamoring for him to do some more horror stuff, even though he's known more in the comedy field. I think he's supposed to be doing something right now. I can't remember what project he's working on that's horror related, but I think Jordan Peele is the new modern horror icon right now. Question number 3, do you agree with the decision to make The Conjuring a universe of spin-offs, or should it just been kept in its own franchise? Now, I find this question interesting because this was all done in an accident, and it's probably because of what made The Conjuring so great was the Annabelle doll. It was creepy looking, it was filled with tension. Now, she didn't move, she wasn't Chucky. She didn't move, she didn't make any sound, but just her presence and the type of tension and how well James Wan directed that particular aspect of Annabelle. Everyone was freaked out by this creepy-ass doll that obviously the people behind The Conjuring decided to say, we got to cash in on this one because everyone loves Annabelle. So they decided to create a spin-off movie, Annabelle. Now, despite some minor sickness, despite some good scary moments in the film was a bad movie. But it did make enough money so that they decided to say, well, we fucked up that time. Let's go on ahead, let's try something different. And then they created Annabelle Creation, and that hit it out the ballpark, and that's what set off the entire Conjuring universe, was the Annabelle series. Now, like I said, it was just by accident that this happened. I really don't think they actually had any plans to create this semi-universe that The Conjuring was. I'm pretty sure after how well The Conjuring did, they knew they were going to do a sequel. But this was done by accident. So I think the studio just got a bit greedy and decided to create Annabelle, but didn't put any thought behind it. And then when they realized the mistake that they made, they corrected it with Annabelle Creation, and they say, hey, we got something going here. So eventually now, because of the success of Annabelle Creation and of course the success of The Conjuring 2, so now you got the Crooked Man, they're coming out with a movie for him. It wouldn't surprise me that with the success of The Nun, that just came out. That came off The Conjuring 2. The success that money had would probably have a sequel to The Nun, and it wouldn't surprise me, depending upon how great this franchise is, depending on when they finally come out with The Conjuring 3, that they'll probably come up with a prequel to the witch that was in the first Conjuring, Bathsheba. So, was it a mistake? If they hadn't made the correction with Annabelle, I would say yes, there was a mistake. But this is what Hollywood studios now. They want to be like Marvel. They want to be like Marvel. Hey, look, Marvel did it. We can do it too. But you have to tell effective storytelling first before you build your universe. You realize, you see the mistake Universal did with The Mummy, which we'll talk about later on in this tag. Question number 4, is It Follows a modern classic or a shameless ripoff of 80s classics? Oh, give me a second. No, I'll repeat the question. Question number 4, is It Follows a modern classic or a shameless ripoff of 80s horror classic? No, I don't think it's a shameless ripoff. It's a good horror film. It does have a lot of elements of 80s classic, especially the soundtrack. It's based in the 80s. It seems now that we're having this new subgenre where all these movies are nostalgic throwbacks to the 80s slasher or an 80s horror. Some of them are good, some of them are not. But I wouldn't consider it a modern classic. It's an effective horror story. It's a bit of a slow burn, and I thought the performances were pretty good in the film. But is it a classic? No. But it's not a shameless ripoff, too. It's just a good horror film that has elements of 80s horror in it. But it's not a modern classic, but it's not a shameless ripoff neither. Question number 5, was to make a fun thrill ride, a cheese fest, or a scary horror film, or a complete bust? As far as I'm concerned, first of all, The Meg was not scary at all. It had some nice small tension moments in it. Obviously, Jason Statham was Jason Statham in the movie. He was very good in it. I like Lee Big Bang. She was good in it as well. I thought her and him did a pretty good job as they play off one another. I think it was pretty good. I thought some of the CGI effects of the Meg or Megalodon was pretty good. It's a fun thrill ride. It has some little cheese fest in there. It's certainly not scary, but it was not a complete bust. Question number 6, is the remake fad over, or is there still more classics which you'd like to see remade? If so, what films would you choose? Answer the first part of this question, no. The remake fad is never going to be over. That's what Hollywood does now. They just want to remake movies out of classics, or even give other franchises or other films a second chance. It's just the way Hollywood is now. There's no originality anymore. Yeah, you still got Get Out and you got A Quiet Place. There's still some originality when it comes to horror films, but as far as Hollywood altogether, hey, look, they're remaking. Look what they've done already. You got a new Mary Poppins film coming out that's going to be remade. Disney's turning all their beloved animated series on the Renaissance all into live action pictures. You got Beauty and the Beast. You have The Jungle Book. You got the Little Mermaid that's coming out. You got Aladdin that's being turned out. That's what Hollywood does now. Again, there's no originality. Let's just do a change of pace because that's what they are. So, no, the fad's not going to be over because remakes are going to get done, whether we like it or not. I mean, even Jason Blum from Blumhouse Productions said that he's interested in doing a whole bunch of remakes of some horror classics. If there's one movie that I would like to see remade, then that's The Car. Now, I don't know if most people have seen The Car. One of the old school horror pictures I just love. I saw it. I rewatched it about a few months ago. It's a nice, obviously, if you were to see it now, it's kind of dated, but it still has nice chills. It got that nice theme song when the car comes out. When the car comes out, it's like almost a reflection of Jaws because I like how they don't show the car throughout at least only by over half the film. Like by the time you get to the second act, is when they finally show the car. It's the same thing with the shark. It also has a great theme song when the car comes up and it's back to attack. So that's one movie I would like to see remade is The Car. Question number 7. Would you prefer slow burns like The Babadook, Hereditary, and A Quiet Place, or gore fest like Terrifier, Saw, and Hostel? Now, I actually thought this was a pretty interesting question because it's not about whether you should prefer I prefer slow burns or gore fest. It all depends upon how the movie is made. Now, you can have a slow burn picture like The Babadook, Hereditary, or The Quiet Place. Although I really don't consider Quiet Place a slow burn, it's just how the movie is. It doesn't, there's no actually spoken words. You do see some slang words because they do talk slang words, but to me, it's not a slow burn. Slow burns are like The Babadook, or, in a matter of fact, Sinister. Those are kind of slow burns because there's a lot of dialogue heavy. You really don't see a lot of action, but there is tension in there. You do get some nice tension moments and some good um, um, creepy effects before the creature actually appears. Those I consider slow burns. Gorefest, I don't mind Gorefest so long as it actually is necessary for the plot. Now, a lot of people love Terrifier, and I can get it because it's a gore fest. Now, I did like Terrifier as the guy who the performance of Art the Clown. David did a very good job without speaking anything, just by his mannerisms, his facial expressions, and what he does. Yes, it's a gore fest because he is a killer, and there were some good practical effects too. But unfortunately, the characters in the film were nothing to me but fodder for Art the Clown to play with. There was no character development, really didn't care about the two girls. I felt the main girl was okay, but the rest of the cast, really didn't care about them. Really didn't make any difference to me. So, that's why, even though I did enjoy the film, it's just that for me, the characters didn't do anything for me. Saw, on the other hand, the first Saw and the second Saw, yeah, those are great. And obviously, even though, there's some great practical effects because the traps were ingenious, but unfortunately, as the series progressed, the traps became not that good and the characters started to die down. And I did like Hostel, but the second one was okay, but then the third one, when you want to talk about the third one. Like I said, it all depends upon what purpose is the storytelling? Are we using the gore as just a shock value, like the human centipede? All that stuff is shock value. It is not really doesn't necessarily do anything story wise. It's just shock value. But is the Babadook, especially Hereditary, all that? Yeah, even though you do have some great gore effects, but the story itself is intriguing. It keeps the viewer engaged. Your attention. You're terrified. It has some decent jump scares, and you have some brilliant performances in the film, especially by Toni Collette. That's what makes slow burns great: is the writing, the storytelling. It keeps you engaged. So to me, it's not about whether it's not a choice between slow burns and gore fest. It's just the fact is that what purpose is? Where's the story being told? Does it keep the viewer engaged, or no? Or is gore just pure shock value? Question number 8. Do you feel the Walking Dead TV show has run its course, or is there plenty of gas left in the tank? Now, I actually find this question fascinating because earlier this year, I actually did a video with my good friend Ivan from the Movie Void. We actually did collab together about whether or not it's time for The Walking Dead to end because season 8, oh god, season 8 was just terrible. The so-called all-out war storyline just dragged, and oh god, it focuses on characters no one cares about. It just seemed to just drag on, and it seemed like once we finally got to the conclusion of the all-out war storyline, it really didn't do anything. Really do anything. There was some great moments. I mean, if it wasn't for Jeffrey Dean Morgan's excellent performance of Negan, I don't know what would he be doing in this show right now. Oh God, it is just so slow and so, oh God, too many filler episodes, focusing on characters no one cared about. I mean, hopefully, now that we've gotten rid of that particular storyline, and now we're in the Whisperers, and I don't know where this is going to go or how they're going to portray the Whisperers as they do in the comics. I know that they've already cast Alpha. I believe she's Samantha Morton is going to be Alpha in this one. So I really don't know. Well, it has the showrunner's course. Well, obviously, I don't know what they're going to do because I'm pretty sure lots of people know Andrew Lincoln. This is going to be his last season. Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie, this is going to be her last season. She's going to do another TV show. Andrew Lincoln, he wants to do something different. So you got two main characters are going to be gone from this season. So I don't know where this is going to leave the show or how they're going to exit out the show. There's plenty still material left because most of this comes from the comic book. If you don't read the comic book, that's where it's coming from. There are some aspects in the comics that are not in the show, and there's some stuff in the show that are not in the comics. Like Daryl character, he's strictly created from the TV show. He's not in the comics. So I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, Scott Gimple is no longer the showrunner. They have one of the writers. She's taking over as the showrunner for right now. So hopefully she'll come up with some new life and bring some life in there. But if there is no new life in season 9, then it's like, come on, guys. It's time to end it. It's time to end it. It had a great run. End it now. Oh, question number 9. Oh, franchises like Halloween, The Terminator are bringing back original characters, actors. What other characters, what other classic series, oh boy, let me get this question right. Let's see. What other classic series do you think this could work for? Now, I understand bringing back actors. Now, keep in mind, this is not Jamie Lee Curtis's first time. She did return for Halloween H2O and for Resurrection. I don't even want to talk about that crap again. I did like H2O. I thought it was a nice return for Jamie Lee Curtis to return and reprise her character, although they did retcon her backstory a bit in H2O, and they're doing the same thing here for the new Halloween that's coming out in 2018. They're doing the same on here. They retcon her. The latest Terminator, they're bringing back Linda Hamilton to play just Sarah Connor. Obviously, they're going to retcon that because because obviously she's not. She was supposedly killed off in Terminator 3, but obviously they're going to retcon that. So I don't know what they're going to do with this particular version of the Terminator. She's coming to play that. It all depends upon whether or not the story and how it's written, how it's directed is going to make this all work. Now, obviously, if they're going to bring back anybody, everyone would love to see Robert Englund return as Freddy Krueger. Now, Jackie Earle Haley, I thought, did a pretty good job as Freddy Krueger. He wasn't the jokester like Freddy Krueger was, like Robert Englund was in the original Nightmare, or as Freddy became the jokester character as he was. He was threatening, he was frightening, he didn't tell any jokes, he was very serious in the role. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was a great performance that he tried to do something different instead of copying what Robert Englund did. So I think that bringing back Robert Englund would be a great thing. Now again, it all depends upon how well it's written. Are they going to bring back more Freddy Krueger that was in a new Nightmare? Are they going to bring back Freddy Krueger that was a great jokester one-liner and Dream Warriors and a Dream Master? But I would love to see Robert Englund just portray the role one more time. So if you're going to do anything, bring back Robert Englund for Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Question number 10. Does the vampire genre have a place in modern horror? Well, of course they do. Despite the fact that no one really liked, I think it was Let the Right One In, or no, I think it was Let Me In, which was an American remake of the, I think it was a classic Scottish film. If I'm wrong, let me know. It could be, I think it's Sweden or Scott. I think it was Sweden. Let the Right One In. And they let the right one in. This one, it was Let Me In. And a lot of people didn't like that particular version of that, what you would call. But yeah, if you come up with a great story and a great, well written, well directed, you can get another 30 Days of Night. You know, you really can't do nothing wrong with the vampires. I know that there was a movie, I thought, What We Do in the Shadows. I think that's what the name for. Everyone loved that one. I did not see that one. I'll probably get a chance to see it, but everyone loved that particular take on vampires. and vampirism. But yeah, I think if you have the right director, the right script, and the right amount of practical effects, and throw in some CGI, you can probably come up with a great vampire movie in the modern horror. I mean, look, as much as I love the Underworld series, and the great job that Kate Beckinsale has done in the Selene character, but I think it's run its course. I think they really don't know what else to do in that particular series. If anything, they need to bring that to television, make it a television series. I think you got a whole lot of there's so much material you can do with that in a TV show as opposed to movies. Question number 11. What is your favorite ghost story or haunted house film in the new millennium? Now, this is tough because obviously we have The Conjuring and Insidious. But I'm going to go with Insidious. Here's the reason why. Because Insidious was a different take on the haunted house thing. It wasn't actually the house that was haunted. It was the kid. Oh, man. And, of course, you can't get one of the best jump scares I ever seen on film was Barbara Hershey is talking to her son, Patrick Wilson's character, and next you know, she turns around, she sees the red-faced demon right behind her son. Freaked everyone out. I said, oh, man, that's how an effective jump scare is supposed to be. Not these fake-ass jump scares that we've seen, especially in The Nun. Good God. And finally, question number 12, the last and final question. Your thoughts on Stranger Things. Is it a modern masterpiece or just nostalgia and fan service? Now, I've only seen finally seen a couple episodes of Stranger Things. I have not seen the first or second season. I'm trying to catch up with Stranger Things so that way I get ready for the third season. And what I've seen so far, basically to me, it's just more nostalgia of the 80s. It's good. I like the characters so far. I like the storyline. It kind of reminds me of a darker version of the Goonies. That's what it reminds me of. But again, it's not masterful. It's just, again, taking advantage of what we've seen before and what we've seen before in other horror movies is this nostalgic throwback to 80s horror. And that's what it is to me. It's not bad. I don't fault the filmmakers or the producers or the showrunners for doing something like that. But no, it's not a masterpiece. It's just another nostalgic, and I don't think it's fan service to me. I think it's just they had a great script, they had a great idea, they put it to film, and bam, you have a great hit for Stranger Things. Yeah, but it's not fan service or anything like that. It's just pretty good directing, pretty good acting, excellent storytelling. You got characters you care about. It's just set in the 80s, and it just reminds me of how great horror was during the 80s. So that's what it is to me. And there you have it. That is the Modern Horror Tag. I want to once again thank Sean Erschen from the Horror Corner for tagging me in this video. Now, normally comes the part where I'm supposed to tag people, but I'm just going to do what I normally do. If you're watching this video right now, you just been tagged by the Horror Miser Monty G, and you now have the opportunity to do this tag. Just make sure that you give Sean Erschen credit because this is his tag. I will have the questions to the Modern Horror Tag in the comment section below, so that way you can do the tag yourself. Well, that's my video for today, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel out a lot. And once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.